strong people walk alone, not because they want to be distant, but because growth separates them from who they used to be. The moment you begin to change, you begin to lose alignment with what once felt normal. The first shift. At first, it's subtle. You don't notice it immediately, but something starts to feel off. Conversations that once made sense start to feel repetitive. Energy that once felt comfortable starts to feel heavy. You begin to think differently, and without saying anything, you begin to pull away. This is not out of ego, but out of awareness. Why this happens. And this is where most people get confused, because it doesn't feel like growth at first. It feels like disconnection. When you change, you disrupt expectations. People are used to a certain version of you that is predictable, familiar, and easy to understand. But the moment you begin to think independently, you become harder to relate to, and not everyone is willing to adjust. Some people will question you, some will misunderstand you, and some will quietly distance themselves. Not because you've done something wrong, but because you're no longer who they expect you to be. People don't resist your growth. They resist losing the version of you they were comfortable with. The sovereign shift. Most people respond to this by shrinking. They adjust themselves to maintain connection, dilute their thinking, silence their instincts, and stay familiar just to stay accepted. But the sovereign does the opposite. The sovereign accepts the distance, not as rejection, but as a necessary separation, because becoming something new requires letting go of what no longer aligns. And this is where the path begins to change. Solitude versus loneliness. Solitude is often misunderstood. People assume it means isolation, but solitude is not emptiness, it is clarity. Loneliness is needing others to feel complete. Solitude is being complete without them. In solitude, there is no noise, no constant opinions, and no external pressure shaping your direction. Only you, and for most people, that's uncomfortable. Friedrich Nietzsche believed that staying too close to the crowd makes independent thinking almost impossible. Because when you're constantly surrounded by noise, you lose the ability to hear yourself. And when you finally do hear yourself, everything starts to change. Internal confrontation. Walking alone forces you to face yourself. There are no distractions, no validation, and no one telling you that you're on the right path. Only your thoughts, your habits, and your discipline. And this is where most people turn back because self-confrontation requires honesty. You see your inconsistencies, your weaknesses, and your excuses. But this is also where strength is built. Marcus Aurelius wrote that character is defined by what you do when no one is watching. And solitude reveals that. Because when you are alone, there is no performance, only action. What you do in that space becomes who you are. And this is the part most people avoid, the relationship shift. As you grow, your relationships begin to change. Some will fade, some will feel distant, and a few will evolve with you. This is not failure, it is alignment. Not everyone is meant to walk the same path, and forcing connection where it no longer exists creates resistance. The sovereign understands this. They don't chase connection at the cost of growth. They choose alignment over attachment. Transformation point. There comes a moment when being alone stops feeling uncomfortable and starts feeling powerful. You begin to trust your decisions. You stop needing constant input, and you become steady in your direction. For the first time, you are self-led. And once you reach this point, you stop fearing distance, the misunderstanding. From the outside, this path looks lonely, but it's not empty. It's focused, intentional, and disciplined. Strong individuals are not alone because they are unwanted. They are alone because they are building, and building requires concentration. The return. Eventually something shifts. You begin to attract different people, not because you searched for them, but because you became someone aligned with them. People who think differently, who value growth, and who understand discipline. But this only happens after you've learned to stand alone. Final realization. Walking alone is not the destination. It's the transition. It is the phase where identity is refined, where clarity is built, and where discipline is formed. And those who embrace it don't come out lonely. They come out stronger, because the sovereign does not follow the crowd. The sovereign becomes someone worth following,